Okay, so this session is now being recorded. All right. So once again, I wanna say all the meetings are recorded, and I'm gonna upload all the meetings on my YouTube channels. Okay. Then, if you miss anything, you can find our recordings on my YouTube channel, and then you can make up. Okay. All this. Okay. So let's start. Let's start. So before we go, I just want to make sure everyone has a good audio video connections. Okay? So please, if you don't have any issue, please say yes. Type yes. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. All right. Great. All right. So let's go. The last time we talked about products, right? This time we are supposed to talk about two topics. Two topics with my papers. The first one will be probably corporate venture capital. Okay, CVC. Okay, corporate venture capital. And second topic will be direct investment, number of jobs. Number of jobs. I love these words. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the paper, academic papers. Okay. Once again, I want to clarify this. Okay? You're MBAs. You are not trained to understand the academic papers 100%. Okay? So you're not PhDs. So I totally understand. If you don't understand 100% papers. But I just ask you, try to understand as much as you can because you are MBAs. Okay? You are business leaders. So sometimes in your job, probably not in the entry level, not in the entry level, but when you go up the hierarchy of your organizations, you have higher position. Probably you will have a better chance to deal with some kind of advanced information, something like this, academic papers, okay, to communicate with other business leaders. Okay, that's why I just want you to expose to this opportunity. Okay, so let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay. All right. So corporate venture capital, the first topic. Corporate venture capital is a real option in the market for technology. Okay. So two topics in this paper. All right. Two topics in this paper. Corporate venture capital, CVC, and real option. Okay. Real option. So what is the corporate venture capital? Anyone? What is the corporate venture capital? Based on your reading.
When private companies invest in startups or smaller companies to help develop either product lines or full companies or services, technologies.
Great technologies. Yes, Sadie. Thank you so much. Exactly. Probably some of you already knew about venture capitalists. Okay, venture capitalists, they are financial institutions. They're investors. Okay, financial investors. They invest money in the startups. Okay, and when startups grow up, okay, they sell the stocks. When they have a capital gains, this is a venture capitalist. Okay, and corporate venture capitalists aim to point out that private companies or public companies, whatever, corporations, make their money in the startups. Okay, and when startups grow up, they can have a capital gains too. This is exactly the same as a venture capitalist. But think about that. Corporations, they are companies. They have their own businesses. So actually, they use this investment activity as a external R&D tool. That means they pursue some technology spillovers from startups too. They are looking for capital gains, corporate investment, and also technology spillovers. Okay, those things. I just want to make sure this picture of corporate investors. Okay. Great, great. Okay. And what is the real option? Real option. What is that?
Real option gives you an opportunity to, after you've made an initial investment, gives you an opportunity to buy in later down the road once you see the profitability of the business.
Great, Michael. Thank you so much. I love MBAs. I love, real option is multiple stage decision making. Okay, multiple stage decision making. Oh, my connection is not stable. So, real option is a multiple stage decision making. That means you have multiple decision making process. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In the first stage, the initial stage, you make a small and experimental investment. Small and experimental investment. Then, when you're done the initial stage, you just look at it. What's going on? You collect more information. And based on this, more information, you can make better decisions in the next decision. Oh, you go further or not. Okay? This is real option framework. So, Michael, thank you so much. As Michael pointed out that real option approach is a multiple stage decision making to reduce the risk. Okay, so CVC and real option. So based on this understanding, so you are gonna have a chance to talk about this paper. Okay, good, very nice, good start. Before we go, I have some announcement. The first thing, teams. Okay, come on. Yeah, it's a really problem. Okay, teams. I want to make sure everyone has your own team. Team is very important in this course. Okay, your team activity is almost everything. So please make sure you have your own team. If you don't have a team yet, it's a big problem. Please let me know immediately. Okay, and also I already set up your CAPSIM global simulations. Okay, CAPSIM global simulations. Okay, so you can register. Okay, you can register. You can visit capsim.com and then you can register CAPSIM global simulations. Okay, then you can search. Our class by my name, course title, or industry code. RP 114534-1. Okay? Then we have 6 teams, right? 6 teams. Okay? And CAPSIM Global Simulation has its own team names. Team 1 is Team Andrew. Okay? So if you are Team 1, you will be Team Andrew in the simulations. Team 2, Team Baldwin. Team 3, Chester. Team 4, Digby. Team 5, Ellie. Team 6, Ferris. So when you join these simulations, please assign yourself in the right team. Okay? Team 1, Andrew. Team 2, Baldwin. Team 3, Chester. Team 4, Digby. Team 5, Ellie. 6, Ferris. Okay. Right. Probably you pay some, about $50 to register that. Right. Then I just want to make sure. I just want to, share our schedules. So next time it is scheduled as a asynchronous class. I don't like this actually. At the beginning of the semester, I don't like it to have asynchronous class. But anyway, we have like this. So the next week, you're gonna start capturing global simulation. Practice round 1. Okay. So practice round means practice. Okay. After 2 practice rounds, we are gonna reset all the data, the simulation. Then we restart regular competition round. So during the practice round, you focus to be familiar with the game, the mechanisms. Okay, this is not an easy game. Okay, many MBAs and many corporate experts are doing this. More than 3,000 teams worldwide. Okay, so this is not an easy game. So it is highly recommendable that you start this game as soon as you can. Okay? The better familiar with the game, the better performance will be. Okay? And then the decision due is tomorrow. So the next meeting will be January 30th, asynchronous class. Okay? But decision due is tomorrow 7 p.m. So if you need more time, then you can have your own time with your team and make decisions tomorrow. All right. Then we will start chapter 1 to February 6th. Pretty tough schedule. Okay? Pretty tough schedule. Right. Any question? If you have any question, any concern, send me an email anytime. Okay? Anytime. So let's go. So now, I want to let you have your team meetings. Please join with your team and then discuss these 2 questions. Okay, this is all about a paper. What is the story about? Please share the story with your team. Okay, with this question, please try to help each other. Okay, try to help each other. Okay, better understand about the paper. What is the story about? Okay, and be ready to talk about. Okay, the paper as a whole group. Okay, so your team discussions improve your understanding level, and also be ready to talk about the paper as a whole group. Okay, briefly. And the second question: discuss how a real option approach contribute to achieve competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiations. Okay, I'm gonna ask actually this question throughout the semester again and again. Okay, competitive advantage, reduce cost, increase product differentiations. These are the fundamentals of strategy management. Okay, cost reduction, increase product differentiation, then you have competitive advantage. Okay, so you can take any perspective, startups, corporate investors, governments, whatever, any perspective, then you can think. You need to open your ideas. Okay, you can take any perspectives and think about real option approach, then how it contributes to have competitive advantage, reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Okay, please discuss. I'm gonna make your breakout rooms. And we have 6 teams, right? 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. This is a problem. Okay, so your breakout rooms are created. There are 6 rooms. Please, team 1. Go to room number 1. Team 2, room number 2. Team 3, room number 3. Team 4, room number 4. Team 5, go to team room number 5. Join with your team. Join in the breakout rooms. You cannot see it, breakout rooms? I already created. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Somebody's moving. Please join with your team. Discuss these two questions. Now you can see breakout rooms. There are 6 rooms. Okay. Now you're moving. So this system is very slow today. It's a problematic. I recognize it. But please, team 1, join in room number 1. Team 2, please join in room 2. Team 3, room 3. Team 4, room 4. Team 5, room 5. Team 6, room 6. Okay, you're moving.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
What story are we supposed to talk about? What story? What is the story about? Like, what does that even mean?
Is there a story in one of the articles? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember.
Yeah, I was. There's not really a story so much as they're all research articles. Like, I mean, there's like different theoretical approaches that they use, but
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Clearly we have some connection issues today. Okay, how was your team meeting? Was
Yeah.
short?
It was short.
Okay, all right. So probably we can adjust the time of the team meeting next time. Oh yes, I'm sorry about this. This is a problem. This is a problem. So let's say inside. So some teams have a good meeting. So some teams have time issues, connection issues. Usually, this is the first time I have this such a great this serious connection issue this time. Okay, let me check. Let me check what's going on. Oh yes, Abby, thank you. Okay, all right. Okay, let me check. Let me check what you're talking about. Okay, all right. Then why don't we have more time? Okay, for team meetings, about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We can have more time on the team meetings. 10 minutes. We could try. Okay. All right. So let me make 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
Dr.
Okay.
Kang,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you mind? do you mind clarifying what we're supposed to be talking about during these meetings? Is it that specific first article that you mentioned?
Yes, corporate venture capital is a real option. So
Okay,
you need
so the
to talk
first
about,
article.
you need to talk about the story of the paper. Okay, try to understand
Okay,
as much as you can.
okay.
All right. So let
Yes,
me help you more time because so 10 more minutes. Okay, let's go. 10 more minutes. Today is a really problem. Okay, please go ahead, join the team. You have 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Ah, what happened? I've. Can you hear me? I've never experienced this such a thing.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is absolutely first time to experience this. So this system was stable, pretty good, but today it is terrible. So please let me take a couple of minutes, okay, to see what's going on in our systems. So I believe you were in your discussions, right? Okay. All right. How do you think we can try team meetings again or the paper? I do not trust this system anymore. Okay. And let's try 5 more minutes for your team meeting. Okay. The last time. Then wrap up your team meetings. We can talk about it. Okay. All right, again, I'm gonna create our breakout rooms and probably 8 minutes. Please try your team meetings again. This is the last time I can try.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
right, welcome back. Welcome back. It seems like much. It's like much better. Matt, how was it? Your team meeting?
Dr. King, we spent a pretty significant amount of time trying to connect with audio and visual, so we got some worthy conversation in, but the AV was rough tonight.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna complain about this. This is a really problem. This is a waste of our time. Okay? My time and your time. The message is this time worked. Okay. So this time was it better? Okay. So probably will be better next time. Okay. So let's talk about that. So CDC as a real option. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm really nervous right now. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's talk about CDC as a real option. So you had a chance, not a perfect chance, but you had a chance to improve your understandings. So let's share the story. What is the story about the paper? Please go ahead. Any team? Anyone? Please go ahead. What is the story about? Please tell us what you discussed.
So for team 3, we talked about kind of as a whole how all of the articles really look at the role of corporate venture capital. A couple of the studies contrast it with public or grant funding, and how they differ and impact different things within the companies that are invested in. And then specific to the real option, just the role of how it allows kind of a phased in approach. So sort of you in the door, you get a seat at the table, you understand what's happening, and then you can make a secondary decision depending kind of on your experience level or your astuteness with early identification of technological advances or opportunities. And then you can make a choice to move on or to sort of double down and invest a second round and kind of push things along.
Great. Thank you so much, Amy. Okay, great summary. So it is about corporate venture capital is real option perspective, real option approach. Corporate venture capital is a what? The small and experimental investment for future technology opportunities. Okay, so how this corporate venture capital is working is a story about this paper. Okay, because CVC is working like a corporate venture capital, we can have some hypotheses to test in the paper. Okay, let me. Usually, I would give more time to discuss about the story, but I just want to briefly, because our system is not working correctly this time. So I want to summarize by myself. Okay, right. This is corporate venture capital. Okay, corporate venture capital. So corporate venture capital is a simply speaking, is a corporations. Okay, big corporations. Big corporations make an investment in startups. Okay. Okay. Think about startup. They have multiple financing sources. Okay. They can finance. From what? Internal financing from themselves. They can use their own money to have their own business, right? They can use money from bank. They can borrow money from the bank. Okay? Also, startup can use venture capital, financial institutions. Okay? Financial institutions. We talked about that. IVC, independent venture capitalists. They are financial institutions. They make investment in startups. When startups are grow up, they can sell the stocks. They have capital gains in the stock market. Okay? And C is the corporations. Okay? B corporations. like a big giant pharma companies. They invest in startups. Okay? That means they invest their money and complementary assets, something like technological resources, marketing resources, distribution channels, something like that. And then startup returns, capital gains, money, and technology spillovers. Okay? Technology spillovers. So corporate investors use CBC as a real option to have these technology spillovers. Okay? Simply speaking, okay? So real options, we talked about that, right? So this is a model. All right. So at the initial stage, okay, corporate investors, think about that. I am interested in the technology of that startup, okay, that company. Okay? I'm very interested. It's a promising. It seems like that. And I can use okay, one of these multiple modes, strategic modes, okay, of external R&D. I can do CVC, okay, small equity investment. I can do R&D alliance or acquisition, licensing. You can choose from these options, right? But think about this. Think about this. If I do acquisitions, just buy that, then that decision making is final, done. It's not reversible, right? It's a final. If I do license, okay, pay money and buy the technology, done. All right? No more chance to reverse my decisions. So acquisitions, licensings, okay, these are final, just one-time decision making. Okay, but think about the CVC. CVC is an equity investment. So if you make CVC investment at the initial stage, first stage, then you just stop there. Then you can see what's going on. You become a board of that startup company. You can collect more information about the technology. Then, oh, this is pretty good technology. You are sure. Then you can do what? Next stage decisions, something like acquisitions and licensing. If you are not sure, still high uncertainty, then you're not sure about the technology, then you can have one more round of CVC2. Okay? So this is flow. This is a framework of I'm looking at the CVC as a real options. Okay? Now you okay? Better? Okay. Then based on this understanding, okay, so my research model is something like that. Exactly the same thing. My understanding. Okay. I'm a corporate investor. At the first stage, I can do CVC, okay, CVC or some other external R&D activities, licensing, R&D alliances, acquisitions. Okay. And then if I do CVC, the only case, if I do CVC, I have the next set of options. Okay, I can do licensing to acquire the technology. I can do R&D alliance. I can do acquisition, or I just say, okay, I'm not interested anymore, so I just say goodbye. Okay, right. This is my research setting. So basically, this paper is about okay, when and how I make decision to make CVC investment rather than also in the second stage. I can do license rather than this. When I will do these choices. Okay? This is the story about the paper. Based on this setting, I have some hypotheses that is extended from the framework. Okay. First hypothesis. Think about that. Firms possess weaker scientific capabilities. That means weaker scientific capability means what? I don't know very well. Okay. Weaker scientific capabilities. I don't know very well about the field. And then what I'm going to do? These firms are more likely to make CDC investments because they want to differ the big decisions. Okay? Because they're not sure. I'm not sure. Weaker scientific capability means I don't know very well this technology. Then I'm going to take more time. I'm going to collect more information, okay, about this technology. Then next time, I'm going to make decisions. Okay? That's why I make this hypothesis. Firms possessing weaker scientific capabilities are more likely to make CDC investment relative to outright licensing acquisitions or R&D alliances. Make sense? Okay. The next hypothesis is same logic. Firms possessing distant technologies. Distant technologies means that is not my technology. I don't know. Okay? Not my field. That means I don't know very well about the technology. Then what am I going to do? I'll do CDC rather than acquisitions, licensing. I don't know very well. I cannot do acquisitions, licensing. Okay. Then the second hypothesis. Okay. And let's skip hypothesis 2. Okay. Because this is too much industry specific, so I'm not going to talk about it. But hypothesis 3. In the second stage, okay, now I already made CDC investment. Then I need to choose between licensing or some other, acquire this technology or not. Okay, so the hypothesis when low technological uncertainty, so uncertainty about technology reduced, is combined with high valuation of the portfolio firms underlying technology. So this technology is promising, is good, and low uncertainty. Wow, it's time to what? Innovate. Uncertainty low, the value is high. Then what I'm gonna do? I want to take it. Okay, so I'm gonna do licensing. Okay, so corporate investors are more likely to license the technology from the portfolio firms post CDC in the second stage. Okay, now I want to test this hypothesis. Okay, this hypothesis. Okay. So far so good. Okay, and to test this hypothesis, I use 85 publicly traded pharmaceutical companies and 385 biotechnology companies. Usually, biotechnology companies in this sector, they are research-based small startups. Pharmaceutical companies, you know that, huge companies. So pharmaceutical companies, usually they are corporate investors. And biotech companies, they are usually startups. Okay? Then to test this, my dependent variable. So my dependent variable is, simply speaking, serve Harjak of CDC. That means the probability of choosing CDC. Exactly same thing, but different word. Okay? So my dependent variable becomes okay, serve Harjak of CDC. The probability of choosing CDC rather than acquisitions or licensing. Okay? In the second stage, The probability of choosing license. Okay? This is my dependent variable. At this point, let me ask you, what are dependent variables and what are independent variables? You learned from your statistics class, econometrics. What are dependent variables and what are independent variables? Please tell me.
Well, Dr. King, if I remember right, dependent variables they reflect. I mean, they're dependent on the. I'm stumbling through this, but they'll be influenced by what's occurring within the research model. Independent variables won't be.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So dependent variable is influenced variables, impacted variables. Okay, and independent variables are impacting variables. Impacting variables. So independent variables impact dependent variables. Okay. So in this setting, we are talking about the probability of choosing CBC or not, right? So my dependent variable becomes the probability of choosing BC. Okay. In the second stage, the dependent variable is the probability of choosing licensing. Okay. Then my independent variables based on my hypothesis. Okay? My independent variables is the ratio of number of scientific papers. It means more scientific papers are published, more scientific knowledge, right? But look at the first hypothesis. Scientific capabilities impact what? Choosing CVC investment, right? So scientific capabilities, the more papers, better scientific capabilities, right? The weaker scientific capabilities, less scientific papers, then more likely to choose CVC investment. Okay? So my independent variable is the ratio of number of scientific papers. More papers, more scientific knowledge. Okay, this is my measure. The second measure, technological distance. Technological distance. We talked about this. Technological distance. Okay. So, indicator variable. Okay, equals one if a partner firm has a patent in the areas that are new to corporate investors. So, if the partner firms, startups patent is new to corporate investor, these are technological distance. Okay, distant technologies, new to corporate investors. Okay, all right. Matt, okay. Michael, okay. Using this, look at this. This is what I want to share with you. Okay, probably you will have many chances. Okay, many chances. Okay? To communicate with some regression tables. I want you to have a good sense about how to read a regression table because regressions is used a lot to have some sense about impacting variables and impacted variables. Okay, so as an MBA, I want you to have a better sense about how to read a regression table. Okay, so I talked about dependent variable, independent variables only. Okay, only. Okay? So far. So how to read a regression table? Same thing. Okay, same thing. You identify your dependent variable, independent variables. Okay, So from this table, okay, look at this. This is a separate regression. Okay, so different models, independent models. Okay, then each model has different sets of independent variables. Usually, regression table has a dependent variable here. Okay, and these are your independent variables. Independent variables. So look at model 5. Model 5. Because this model includes all the independent variables. All right? All the independent variables. So look at this. So in model 5, your dependent variable is what? The first choice, sub-hazard of CBC. That means the probability of choosing CBC. Okay? How many funds, how many corporations choose CBC rather than acquisitions or licensing? Okay? Then look at this. Your independent variable here. One of your independent variables is investor scientific capability. Hypothesis 1. Okay. Investors scientific capability has what? This is negative regression coefficient. Negative regression coefficient. And this is significant statistically. This is not, follow the star notations, but I'm gonna show you again. Okay, but this is a statistically significant. Okay? So negative and significant regression coefficient means high scientific capability, low probability of this. Negative. Different directions. So weaker scientific capability and higher probability of choosing CBC. Got it? This is exact same as hypothesis 1. Weaker scientific capabilities, more CBC investment. All right? So negative, significant regression coefficient. Opposite directions. Weaker scientific capabilities, more CBC, because I don't know very well. Okay? I don't know very well. Weaker scientific capabilities. Same logic. Investor partner, technological distance, your independent variable. Then this is positive and significant. Oh, so technological distance, further technology, then more CBC. Okay? Further technology, more CBC. So the second hypothesis is supported. Okay? And then the last one, in the second stage, it is in this line, in model 7. Sub-hazard of licensing post CBC, that means the probability of choosing licensing. Okay? Then I use the interaction variables. Value of partner's technology, high. Uncertainty, low. And negative interaction variables, then negative and significant. So this hypothesis is supported too. So the last hypothesis, the second stage, is a supportive. So far so good. So basically what I did was very, very simple in this table. It seems like a very professional, complicated, but basically what I did was I just identified my depend variable. Just one single depend. Depend variable is always a single, only one. And I identified independent variables. Then I just check out the signs and significance. That's it. Then I can read these tables. So if you read this table in this way, it's a simple, then you can communicate. Okay, you can understand. You don't need to be an expert of econometrics, statistics. Okay, so now you're enough to communicate about regressions. Okay, this is the point that I want. Okay, so based on these findings, there are tons of different types of regressions, but you don't need to know it. Okay, there are many types of regressions, but you don't need to know. If you just identify independent variables, dependent variables, and you can understand the story, that's it. Okay, so based on these findings, are we better off by having a real option perspective strategy? Yes, because we have multiple decision-making process. We can reduce risk, reduce cost. Okay, because we have multiple stage decision-making. We have what? Better product, better knowledge, better opportunity. So yes, we are better off. Okay? Then managers, policymakers may need to perceive how different types of strategy interact with each other. So we need to understand, CDC is working with some, licensing, the acquisitions, okay, before doing this. Okay? So we need to understand the interaction between these different types of strategies. Then we are better off. Better. Okay. This is about the CVC, corporate venture capital as a real option. This is a story about. Okay. And then we have one more paper about CVC, like this paper, CVC valuation. This paper is very simple paper to you, but this paper is talking about different side of the corporate investors, the value created by CVC investments. It is what? Yeah, it is caused by David Kuhl, okay, Georgette guy, and also it is caused by Eliezer Edelman, is the MIT guy. They are teaching in these institutions, great institutions. And then this paper is basically talking about same thing, but look at this. Look at this one. Corporate venture capital has, we already talked about that. They can pursue corporate investors. They can pursue capital gains. They can pursue technology spillovers. But people usually what? Please. Oh, it's a terrible day. So people usually think about one side of value created by corporate investors. Okay? Capital gains or technology spillovers, researchers. So, hey, people, we need to think about multiple dimensions of values created by corporate investors. Okay? So I want to divide this way into subcomponents. Capital gains and intrinsic value. That's it. That's it. I just divide these two types of values. Then I just estimate it. That's it. They're almost same paper, but different focus. That's it. So let's stop here. So corporate venture capital. The story is simple. Again, it's working like a real options. That's it. Okay. Then let's move. Okay, let's go back to the previous one. Okay, so the second question. Discuss how a real option approach achieve competitive advantage, reduce costs, and increase product differentiations. Probably not all of you, but some of you had a chance to talk about this. So please tell us how the real option approach, in your perspective, in your team discussions. Any team, anyone? Please share what you discussed. The second question.
Dr. Kang and Group 5, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Great. In the Group 5, we talked as the real option approach being a simultaneously pursuing reduced cost and increased product differentiation, thinking short-term, long-term, because short-term real option approach would save you money as opposed to like jumping in and being one of the major investors. But then long-term, it would enable you to basically be part of that company and obviously receive capital gains from their successes because you invested early on, because you have that option, which therefore increases your own product differentiation because suddenly your corporation is now part of a whole nother unique product line to produce successful product. So we thought it was a very wise competitive advantage strategy and like the big
Great.
picture.
I love your discussions. Great. Okay. So you take corporate investor perspective, it can reduce cost. Of corporate investment because you can reduce the risk. Okay. So you have multiple stage decision making. So you can risk any uncertainty. It's great. That means you reduce cost. Increase product differentiation because you reduce any potential mistake to improve your product. All right. So great. Thank you so much. So simultaneously pursuing these two. So think about that. If you reduce cost, increase product differentiations, what about your performance? It's better. All right. Competitive advantage. Okay. So real option approach contribute to have what? Competitive advantage for corporate investors. Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you so much. Okay. Any other comments? Any other points you discussed?
In Team 4, it was brought up a few times how this approach puts an emphasis on intrinsic value.
Oh, intrinsic values. Yes, it increases intrinsic values too. All right. Okay. So we are all talking about okay, technology spillovers. Okay, technology spillovers. Actually, CBC activities have a lot to have better information about external technology for corporate investors. Okay, so this increase, this becomes intrinsic values. Intrinsic values. That's right. Great. Thank you, Michael. Team forward. Any question, any comment, any other idea? Okay, probably you would have more time to discuss this, but we spend a lot of time in to solve the technical issues. So I just want to move out at this point. Okay, and the next paper is about job market, job paper, right? Number of jobs. Okay, VC and NIH effect paper. So no break today. How about that? Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go to the next topic. Next topic. Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit quickly. Okay, a little bit quickly. Okay. So next couple of papers about who create jobs, venture capital, research grants, and regional employment in the U.S. Okay. So this is a different topics. Different topic. Okay. The number of jobs. How to increase jobs in the regional economy. Something like Rome, Georgia. You already familiar with Rome, right? Okay. So in that area, Rome area, probably is nothing about medical device sector. Okay. Then if you are the boss, you can control everything. Then what are you gonna do? You have venture capital, you have research grants. What are you gonna do? Something like this. This is about paper. So who create jobs? Venture capital, research grants, and regional employment. Okay. Let me go straight. Okay. So what is the story about? Please share the story with your team. Again, I'm gonna give you a chance. Okay. We're gonna try one more time. Okay. Team meetings. Okay. Let's see how team meetings work at this time. Okay. So please just have 10 minutes. Then this what is the story about? And discuss the paper in the concepts of again, same thing. Competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiation. Then you're the boss. You can control everything. Then what are you gonna do? Okay, to create jobs. Okay, so please discuss these questions. Here, only 10 minutes. I have much time at this point. So I'm gonna create your breakout rooms and 10 minutes. Okay, please join with your team. Okay, join with your team. Take 10 minutes to discuss these questions briefly. Then we are gonna talk these questions as a whole group.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
All right, welcome back. Better this time?
Yeah, loads better. Loads better.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay.
Oh
Hi,
shit!
Emma.
What happened?
Emma didn't know she was on live mic. That's awesome.
All right. So, technical issue. I hate. Okay. So let's just dive. Okay. Okay. Um. Usually, probably I would give you some more time to talk about this paper, but because we don't have enough time today. Okay. So I'm gonna briefly, okay, look at what this paper is like. Okay. So this paper is basically talking about the effects of venture capital and NIH funding. Venture capital, we talked about that, all right? Financial institutions, okay? Private money to have capital gains, okay? NIH funding is what? Research grants, government money, all right? So private money, government money, they're different, right? Private money, they're looking for what? Money, right? But government money, they have some societal values, right? Like a scientific discovery, okay? Basic research. So different types of money. So based on this recognition, okay, I was looking at this, okay, and then how the money impact the number of jobs, how to create, okay, your jobs, okay, your jobs. So this is a conventional approach. Many economists, many people, yes. The number of jobs, level of employment is impacted by the same thing, dependent variable and independent variables. Okay, so number of jobs impacted by money, financial capital, labor capital, intellectual capital, entrepreneurial capital. All right, there are some factors that impact number of jobs. Okay, and when I looked at this model, oh, it's pretty simple and strong. But I just wanted to say, hey, guys, stop there. Okay, I understand what you're saying with this model, but think about that. Money, K. We have different types of money, public and private money. If we just combine this homogeneously without any difference, without any caution, then probably we have some problems to understand exactly what's going on here. So my suggestion was very simple. Same model, but two types of money, K1, K2, venture capital, and K2, NIH, public money. Okay? I just want to divide these two types of money, then look at how these two types of money impact the number of jobs. Okay? And then KR is the inaction. Inaction variable is K and R. R is intellectual capital because think about the intellectual capital knowledge. It's a function of what? Money too. Okay? Function of money too. Okay? If you don't have money, you cannot do research. Okay? So I suggest this model, and many people, wow, yeah, it makes sense. Then what's going on? Then to test this model. This is my model. So VC funding, NIH funding, separate. VC funding, private capital, formation of new entries, financial objectives, applied research, NIH funding, public capital, focus on existing entities, social objectives, basic research, something like that. Yeah. These two types of money impact positively regional jobs. Yes, money is endowed, invested, and jobs are increased. So natural. Yeah. In both. And intellectual capital knowledge interact with this. So in the higher intellectual capital region, probably we see funding working greatly. Okay? And higher intellectual capital area, NIH funding working more greatly to create jobs. These are my model and hypotheses. Okay? And then, so my hypothesis, venture capital increase regional jobs. NIH increase regional jobs. Positive relationship between VC and regional employment level is stronger when a great amount of intellectual capital is available. Okay, this is an example of interaction variables. Okay? Then to test this hypothesis, okay, data. 248 medical device clusters, 12 years from Harvard Business School data. Yeah. Then again, regressions. So the first job you should do is your dependent variable, independent variables. It's a simple, right? Your dependent variable is what? Number of jobs in that region. Independent variables, what? VC money and NIH money. Okay. Then let's look at how to impact this. Okay. Then this is summary statistics. So how to read summary statistics is a very simple tool. So look at this. This is all sample. Number of jobs 5.81. Okay. I just divide my sample into two groups here. High VC funding and low VC funding. That means a number of samples, a group of samples that have higher VC funding. Okay, VC funding high. Then I compare, this is a low VC funding, compare this, mean to means. Level of employment. Oh, so level of employment in high VC funding group was 7.64 and low 5.33. Oh, so in a high VC funding, level of employment is greater. Then it is clue that VC funding actually increase the level of employment. Okay, so first clue. All right, same thing. High NIH funding group, low NIH funding group. In this sample, the level of employment, mean of level of employment is greater than this one. Okay, so we have two signs. Okay, now again, regression tables. Now you are familiar with this. Now you need to find what dependent variable and independent variables. Okay, let's look at model number 2. This, because this model has everything. Okay? So in model 2, your dependent variable is what? Level of employment, T. T means this year. Okay? Level of employment. This is your dependent variable. Your independent variables are level of employment T minus last year employment. And we have this VC funding and NIH funding. That's great. These are the variables I want to look at. So VC funding has what? Regression coefficient. Look at this. Positive. And well, there's some stars here. This is a star notations. If you see stars like this, it means statistically significant. Okay? So VC funding has a positive and significant regression coefficient on level of employment T. That means my first hypothesis, VC funding increase, level of employment, supportive. Okay? Then the next one, NIH funding, positive and also starts significant. So NIH funding increase, level of employment too. My second hypothesis is a supportive. Okay? Basically, again, what I'm doing with the regression table is very simple. I just identify my dependent variable, identify independent variables, then check out the regression coefficient, signs and significance. That's it. And I have some interaction variables here, okay, to test hypothesis 3 and 4, but I'm not gonna talk about this. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about this. So, but the problem is, think about that. Think about that. This year, VC funding and NIH money invested, so it creates number of jobs. How about next year? It can have a lagging effects. So next year probably they can impact number of jobs. How about the next year, the following year? Okay. So I was thinking about the lagging effects. So in the model 3, I just use a dependent variable, different dependent variable, but level of employment T plus 1 the next year, the level of employment. Okay. And model 4 the following year. Model 5 the following year. T plus 3, T plus 4, something like that. Then I just look at it, then positive and significant coefficient. Oh, so VC funding, NIH funding impact continuously. They have a lagging effects to increase. This is my conclusion from this table. Okay, then you're right. Much better, right? Okay, great. So based on this understanding, okay? There are some other stuff. So strategies should consider. We now understand, okay, VC money, NIH money impact number of jobs, okay, in different way. So as a strategist, appropriate typology on financial capital is necessary, private and public capital, okay. And also, we have some interaction effects of financial capital and intellectual capital, just exactly the same as my hypothesis. That's it. This is the story. Okay? And let's go back to the next question. Any question, comment so far? Today, this system kills me. Okay, kill me. Okay, so discuss the paper. Oh, sure. I'm gonna upload all the PowerPoint slides on the Canvas, so you can find anytime. Okay. Discuss the paper in the concepts of competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiation. Anyone, any team.
Team 1, we discussed the independent variable of the intellectual capital in the region, providing the competitive advantage to capitalize on the private and capital, or private capital and public capital investments.
Nice. So you talked about interaction variables, very advanced, and your understanding level would be great. Okay. So I just skipped to talk about the intellectual capital, but intellectual capital is very, very important. Okay. So think about that. In a higher intellectual capital region, the effect of VC and NIH are greater. That means much higher impact effect. Then, if you have in the region, you have a higher intellectual capital, that means you are easily to achieve competitive advantage. You're easily to have a better effect from VC money and NIH money. That was probably Guillermo's comments and team. Great, very insightful, very insightful. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Any other comments? Any other ideas? Oh, let's combine this. The next question. If you are authorized to allocate the financial resources, you're the boss. You can do anything. Then what are you gonna do based on these findings? Anyone? Anything?
I believe Group 4 said the NIH seems to be the better investment strategy.
All right. Zane says NIH better strategy. I just slightly change your statement. NIH funding should go first. Because
Yeah, sorry.
NIH funding is a long-term effect. It's a basic things. So NIH go first. Then, based on the effect of the NIH funding, VC go follows. Next, okay? Then there can be somewhat action effect, better effects. Okay? Great, very good. That is actually the main point of this study. Okay? The timings, different types of money, different types of effects. Then how to adjust this, different timings. Okay? NIH, basic, venture capital, application. So basic go first. Okay? Make it work. Then applications. Okay? Big impact. Great. Thank you so much, Zane, and your team. Team 4. Okay. Any other question, comment?
Team 1, we
Okay.
had a similar idea of NIH investments before private investments,
Okay.
because of how the NIH investments were focused on innovation and new discoveries, and it took longer to commercialize. Did your research find how long it takes for new discoveries to commercialize so that private capital can follow behind it?
It is. It's a really nice question. It is a good question. Actually, that question is related to the question that Michael was raised. It's raised just at the beginning of the class. The industry specific factors. Okay? So the product development cycle, it varies across industries. For example, we talked about that. In the biopharmaceutical sector, a single drug, it takes almost 10 years to develop a single drug. And it costs more than $2 billion. Okay? But in the IT, think about that one product, like 3 months, 6 months. Okay? They can produce, they can develop new product a lot. Okay? So we cannot generalize how long it takes to the medical device sector, okay, in the medical device sector, the context of medical device sectors and other industries. That's why I didn't specify that time period in the paper. Okay, but many economists. Okay, I'm not specialized in this field, but they should focus in. Okay, they should focus in to identify this. Okay, because I studied just conversation. Hey, look, guys, you need to think about this. Then they should find this. Okay, there are a lot of future research opportunities. Okay. All right. Any other question, comment? Once again, I want to say I'm gonna completely. I wanna absolutely complain about tonight's situation about system. Okay, our system, this connectivity. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this situation where the some other faculty stuff and also some IT department stuff. Okay, I'm sorry about this. Any inconvenience, but anyway, we talked about two topics: number of jobs and CBC as a real options. Okay, and also we talked about how to read the regression tables. Okay, I believe we are going to talk about these topics in the next chapters again. Okay? Also, in the some regression stuff, probably it will help you to communicate with others in your job. Okay, all right. So we did have some problems. Okay, but anyway, we did it. Okay, and also your cooperation and your discussions so impressive. I love it. Based on your discussions, okay. Oh, MBAs. Nice. Okay, great. Okay. I am happy with your discussions. And any other question, comments? You did a great job today. All right, no question, no comment. Please type yes. You are ready to go? Please type yes to make sure. I just want to see. All right, then we conclude these two papers, two topics. The next time is the asynchronous class, so we are not gonna meet, right? But you're supposed to do not competition, practice round one, right? Practice round one. Okay? So I'm gonna. This is not my duty actually, but I'm gonna present. I'm gonna open this video conference, okay, for you. All right. Then I'm gonna be here, okay, at the beginning of the time. So I will see. So if you have any question, any concern about the simulation, just stop by. Okay. Just stop by. Okay? So I'm gonna open. I'm not sure the policy. I cannot open it. Probably not. Okay. So I'm gonna open the video conference for you. So if you have any question, any concern, just stop by. Okay. This is an asynchronous class, but so you don't need to be in the conference actually. But I'm gonna open the video conference for you, okay, for your convenience. So like a extra helping sessions. So if you need any help, just stop by and let's talk. Okay, how about that? Great. Right, you did a great job. I'm sorry about this happening today. Okay. Then if you want, you will see me on the next Monday. Next Monday. You did a great job. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Dr. King, will we need a code or a password for the CAPSIM site?
Actually, you need to visit the Capson website and then you can register. You're supposed to pay online.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much. You did a great job today.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Hey, Professor.
Yes,
I
please.
shot you an email last week and after our first class, and I was just wondering if you had received that.
Okay, hold on, please. Let me stop this. Are you done? Okay. Hold on, please. Are you done?
Okay.
Please tell me again.
Pardon?
So you send an email?
Yes, sir.